Hello and welcome. You're watching the Explosive Exclusive. I'm Padmaja Joshi. 21 days into the Israel-Hamas war, the IDF continues limited ground operations against the terror outfit in the Gaza Strip. Sirens sounded across Israel over the last 24 hours as well. The Hamas continued to fire rockets into Israel from the Gaza Strip. In fact, the Hamas's Al-Qassam brigades claimed responsibility for both the rocket barrages that targeted Tel Aviv. They said that the Al-Qassam brigades renewed bombing Tel Aviv in response to Zionist massacre of civilians. But Israel also struck back at multiple targets from the air and on the ground. Their campaign against the Hamas leadership continued, with 5 more killed in the last 24 hours.
אנחנו צריכים לרסק את החמאס כדי שאנשים יהיה להם את הביטחון לחזור, אבל בשלב הסופי אנחנו נוכל גם לבנות ולהרחיב ולעשות את החבל הזה מאוד פורח.
אנחנו מנהלים מלחמה בחזית הדרומית כנגד חמאס. אנחנו מוכנים לכל התפתחות בצפון. חיזבאללה סופג נפגעים רבים. יחד עם זה אין לנו עניין להרחיב את המלחמה. אם נידרש לעניין הזה, נדע מה לעשות, הכוחות מוכנים בהגנה וחיל האוויר מוכן להתקפה. אירוע כזה לא קרה למדינת ישראל ב-75 שנות קיומה. מה שיקרה ב-75 השנים הבאות תלוי במידה רבה בהישג שאנחנו נלחל בקרב הזה. ולכן אני אומר לכם, אין לנו ברירה אחרת, ואנחנו ננצח כי אין שום אפשרות אחרת. זה או אנחנו או הם.
The Israel Defense Minister saying very clearly now the war is at a point where it's either us or them. And by us, they say it is all of humanity, because Israel is fighting for the entire world to wipe out a terror outfit. As a part of its Operation Iron Swords, there were a number of terror targets that were eliminated in yet another precision strike launched by Israeli jets. Deputy head of Israel's Intel Directorate, Shadi Baroud, was eliminated. In fact, the Baroud has been accused by Israel of planning the October 7 attacks in southern Israel with Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. In addition to that, the onslaught didn't stop there. Another Hamas operative known as the Rocket Man of the terror group has also been killed. The IDF claimed that the airstrike was carried out following intelligence inputs on Al-Abdullah's whereabouts gathered by the Shin Bet and Military Intelligence Directorate. Israeli jets struck and killed several more Hamas members, destroyed several sites belonging to the terror group in the Gaza Strip. Apart from all of these people, there were 3 other terror operatives and senior commanders in Hamas's Daraj Tufa battalion who were killed in an airstrike. It also neutralized the battalion's commander, Rifat Abbas, the deputy commander, Ibrahim Jadba, and a combat support commander, Tariq Maroof. The IDF claimed the battalion's operatives played a significant role in the invasion and the attack on Israel on October 7. But let's also tell you why this is no longer just one country's fight against terror, but is soon widening into a regional conflict in the making. The United States has now sent a carrier strike group into the eastern Mediterranean, including aircraft carriers and defense systems. 900 additional American troops are also being sent to the Middle East. China, meanwhile, has deployed 6 warships in the Middle East, with their state media reporting that these warships have left the shores of Muscat, where they were taking part in joint military exercises. The UK has sent 2 Royal Navy ships and surveillance aircraft as well into the region. There is all-round pressure on Israel right now to back down in the face of protracted criticism that human rights violations are being carried out in the Gaza Strip in the name of self-defense. The question, though, is Israel at this point willing to back down? Joining us now on the debate, Dr. Eyal Pinko. He's a former senior intelligence officer, cyber and national security expert. And joining us also is Palestinian journalist Mohammed Najib. Dr. Pinko, I want to start by asking you, is it time for Israel to step back? 8,000 lives have been lost. The UNGA is debating a resolution against Israel.
Yeah, when you speak about this equation, I think you forgot a simple fact. which is the Palestinians. The Hamas terror organization just slaughtered 3 weeks ago more than 1,400 people. And there are more than 220 people in captivity in the hands of Hamas. So we need to look on this equation as well, taking into consideration that we know from ages that Hamas is always exaggerating, like the amazing story about bombarding the hospital, which they fired a rocket, hit the hospital. They said 500 people killed, and eventually they killed their own people, something like a few dozens. So you know the Hamas numbers are always much higher than what they are presenting to the world.
So you're saying that there are no human rights violations happening in Gaza?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Israel is defending herself against this Hamas terror organization. Hamas is hiding below schools, below kindergartens, below hospitals, and these cowards are using the human shields in order to to fight. We have no choice. We have to take down this organization in order to bring peace to the world. They are also connected to Pakistan. You must not forget this as well. To Pakistan, to Iran. This is the evil axis, as we call it here. And we need to finish this organization for the sake of the peace for the world. And the way that they are fighting, if we call it fighting, using women and children as a shield, and it's not really a fighting. But we need to finish this organization once and for all and to bring peace to the area.
Okay, it's either them or us, Mohammed Najib. That's what the Israeli defense minister said. It's a fight not just for Israel, but for humanity.
On the 21st day of the war, there are many Palestinian civilians killed, more than 7,000, and other injured. And Israel is blocking all the crossing borders, so it doesn't allow the evacuation of injured to be treated in Egyptian hospitals or to bring the fuel for the hospital. So when it's come to the humanitarian issue, the international laws during the wartime guaranteed that to avoid civilians. And maybe the Israelis right now killed dozens of Hamas, but we can say that the 7,000 Palestinians who killed and 18,000 who injured were hiding Hamas behind themselves. Hamas knows how to protect itself. Maybe they went underground tunnels, maybe they hidden somewhere, but the targeting of the civilians, as it happens, that committed as a problem against Israel, and the Palestinians never witnessed. And the Palestinians said this is a revenge war, more against civilians, not against Hamas, because if the Israelis want to go after Hamas, they know how to go after Hamas.
Why would the Israeli government carry out any revenge against Palestinians? What do they have against Palestinians?
They think that by targeting the civilians will revolt against Hamas and tell Hamas, you are causing us catastrophic, you have to stop. They will distance from supporting Hamas. This is what they think. But the 2.3 in Gaza, people are not all Hamas. Hamas has its supporters, its members, but they are belonging to Fatah, who are independent, who are not engaged in any politics, never been. And the good example that Israel was giving 18,000 workers permits to work in Israel. So if they were Hamas, Israel wouldn't allow 18,000 to come to work inside Israel, and they pass security clearance. So there are dozens of Gaza innocent people who are not affiliated with Hamas or any political parties, and they want just to live. So being targeted, that makes the people united against Israel and call this is a war of revenge more than targeting Hamas, because right now what we hear from the Israeli security sources, that dozens of Hamas leaders killed. We didn't hear that hundreds or thousands were arrested, just they are dozens, because Hamas know how to hide in their tunnels, and they hide also the captive Israeli hostages that they captured them. And I don't think that all the people of Gaza support what Hamas did on the
Okay, we'll just take this one by one. Let Dr. Pinko answer the first point. For every 2 Hamas men that you kill, you are killing 200 civilians. Dr. Eyal Pinko, this is a revenge against Palestinians, not Hamas.
I will be gently. This is a nonsense story. I don't remember when you're writing here on your labels that this is Israel 9/11. I don't remember when thousands of people were killed by terrorist organizations with the 9/11 in the U.S. and then U.S. invaded Afghanistan and Iraq. killing hundreds of thousands of people. I don't remember anyone in the world shouting that this is revenge of the U.S. This is a totally fictional story. This is not a revenge. This is an issue that the Palestinians are among Hamas, and Hamas is among Palestinians. They are all together, and they are using them as a human shield, as I said before. And look on this issue. First, you must understand that Israel said many times to the civilian, go south. Go south, you will be protected over there. But Hamas do not let the guys, the Palestinians, to go south. They are killing their own brothers, not allowing him to go south. This was well published, and even Palestinians spoke about it before. So this is not a revenge. Israel had put them the possibility to go down because they are hiding.
So you're saying the death figures being given from Gaza is all fiction? It's all made up?
I will say that 90% of that is made up.
It's all made up. Mohammed Najib.
Look for another, just to see another fact. Israel providing only 10% of the water of the Gaza Strip. Only 10%. And they are shouting human crisis, but 90% of the water are coming from the Gaza. Look on the electricity. Israel provides, I don't know why, 50% of the electricity of the Gaza Strip. 50%. So what humanitarian, they are providing the half of the electricity for themselves. So there are a lot of stories behind that, and we need to, we need to filter a lot of the myths that are being provided by Hamas.
Interesting, Mohammed Najib. A lot of it is myth, also grossly exaggerated figures. That's what is being suggested. That the death toll of 8,000, including 4,000 children, what the Palestinian envoy also said in the UNGA, is a gross exaggeration. As Dr. Pinko puts it, it's a myth.
If the Palestinians don't say the truth, so the whole international community now biasing toward the Palestinians, or don't say the truth about the humanitarian issue of the Palestinians. Even President Biden mediated to allow the entry of the food supplies, the medical supplies to the Palestinians. Actually, Israel asked 1.1 million Palestinians from population from North Gaza to go to the south, but also when they went there, some of them, thousands of them went there, and the first few hundreds, some came under attack by the Israelis. So it's like they want to displace them to Sinai Peninsula, and this is recalled the 48th Nakba. So for the Palestinian
Najib, how do you respond to the charges now? Because even the American government said that we must be very careful about the kind of death figures that are being put out by the Palestinian Authority, because essentially they are controlled by Hamas. These are exaggerated figures given by Hamas.
The Palestinian Authority cannot send any assistance to the Gaza Strip because the crossing borders with Israel are closed, as well as Rafah, a crossing border with Egypt, is closed, and every shipment want to enter to the Gaza Strip should be searched by the Israelis to just include medicines and food supplies and water. But they don't allow the fuel for the hospitals, so the hospitals become full and over capacity to receive injured in this war, and there are many who killed, and we saw that the collective tombs for them to bury them, and there are some Palestinians who is still under the rubble of the destroyed houses, and the Palestinian civil defense cannot have the capabilities to rescue all those who are under the So now we see the whole world criticizing Israel for targeting civilians. So it's not the Palestinians only who says that, and the TV's camera footage and photos that came from there. So it's shown that how Gaza, and I saw satellite footages, how Gaza neighborhoods were before 7 October and yesterday. So there is a big difference. They made a huge
do you think the American government and the American president are misled when they say that Hamas is grossly exaggerating the death toll in order to perhaps guilt Israel into stopping its offensive?
Exaggerating about the number of killed people, or exaggerating about what?
The death toll, the number of people killed in the last 21 days.
Okay, if they said now they are 7,000 and the fact are 6,000, so what is the difference? Why the 6,000 to be killed? Why one innocent to be killed?
Answer that, Dr. Eyal Pinko. Like the Palestinian ambassador to UN said, why should even one Palestinian civilian, why should even one Gazan civilian be dead? Even if it's not 7,000, even if it's 1,000, even if it's one.
I listen to these words, and I cannot understand why 1,400 Israeli civilians had to be butchered and raped by Hamas. Why even one had to be butchered like by Hamas? Why? Why? You're dealing only with the Hamas Hamas terrorists that were killed. Why don't you deal with the fact that the war was started because of 1,400 Israelis were butchered and slaughtered by those terrorists, by those non-human people? Why don't you ask this question? Why?
Answer, Mr. Najib. Nobody asked the US when they went into Afghanistan and decided to eliminate the Al-Qaeda. Why is Israel being asked these questions about the Hamas?
If Israel can go behind Hamas, but I want to let you remember that before this war, Israel was supporting Hamas. Israel providing Hamas with electricity, with allow their workers to come to work in Israel, allow the cash money in the Qatari banks to come, because they want to weaken the Palestinian Authority and keep the division between that. So the Palestinians were upset by Israel's supportive policy toward Hamas. Israel has shown a support for Hamas, and we're in good relations because they want to serve its interests. And if now there is a problem with Hamas, let Israel go after Hamas. But what is the civilian did? Did the 2 million Palestinians in Gaza went and killed Israel? If the Hamas did that, it doesn't justify to target civilians. This is the issue about civilians, and the international war laws guarantee that even during the war laws, you shouldn't attack journalists, you shouldn't attack medical staff, you shouldn't attack civilians. So Israel has advanced technology and sophisticated rockets and bombs, so they can go out, if they have intelligence, after Hamas, do whatever they want to arrest them, to kill them. That's another issue.
Okay, I'll just give you the last word, Dr.
About
Pinko.
civilians, about civilians only. Why?
Yes, Israel did a very stupid move before the war. Israel thought, in its Western way of thinking, that prosperity, good health, good situation in the Gaza Strip will bring peace. Israel wanted peace for many, many years. For 75 years, Israel wants peace. And Israel thought, in a very innocent way, I will say that in a very innocent way, said that even though these terrorists we will bring prosperity, good financial, healthcare system, education to the Gaza Strip, and we will support them, we will have peace. But Hamas and this third organization fooled Israel with this innocent way and said that they only use it in order to butcher and slaughter people for many, many years. It's not the first time that they are bombing us, they are killing our civilians. This was extreme issue now, but they are doing that, and we are still thinking that prosperity, energy, water will bring peace, and they will not want to kill us.
So is this payback? Is this payback for a terror attack or collective punishment? The world is still debating. The UNGA is going to vote on such a resolution in just hours from now. For the time being, though, thank you very much, Dr. Pinko and Mohammed Najib, for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.